Hi, my name is Emily Marlowe, and I work as a writing consultant with the online writing lab at Concordia University, Irvine. Today I'm going to share a writing tip as a part of a series to help you gain insight into how to incorporate some of the best practices of scholarly writing into your own work. In this video, we will discuss how to integrate sources into your paper. When writing a research paper, you are required to connect outside sources to your own ideas. Research is a conversation between various researchers and audiences. Integrating sources allows you to put your own ideas into dialogue with the ideas of others and give them credit. In the end, ethically using sources increases your knowledge about a subject, builds your ethos as a writer, and allows you to become a part of the larger conversation within your discipline. Let's look at these 4 steps for successful source integration. The 4 steps to integrate sources include introducing the source, integrating the source into your paragraph, connecting the source with your analysis, and citing the source. The first step is the introduction. The reason we introduce sources is to inform the readers about the source, which helps to transition your reader into the source. To introduce a source, include an APA citation with the author, plus the date in parentheses, plus a reporting verb, like explains, states, argues, or suggests, and the main idea. Here are some examples of introducing a source. For one author, state the author's name and date in parentheses, according to Johnson, 2019. For 2 authors, state the 2 authors' names with and the date in parentheses, according to Johnson and Matthews, 2019. For 3 or more authors, state the first author's name with et al. And the date in parentheses, according to Johnson et al., 2019. Now we go into the technical side of how to integrate the information into your paper. There are 3 options. Number 1, directly quoting the source, which borrows credibility from another author and their exact words. 2, paraphrasing the source in your own words, which emphasizes a particular point from a source in your own words. And lastly, summarizing the main idea of the source, which condenses a larger idea or text into a shorter and more accessible form. Now let's look at an example of how to quote, paraphrase, and summarize the same piece of information from a source. First, quoting is borrowing the exact words. Johnson 2019 states, quote, "Classroom collaboration enhances student engagement by fostering shared responsibility and interaction among peers." Second, paraphrasing is putting their words into your own. So here, Johnson 2019 explains that when students work together, they tend to participate more actively in class discussions. And third, summarizing is capturing the main idea of the source. According to Johnson 2019, collaboration plays a key role in improving how engaged students feel in learning. All 3 of these examples are ways to integrate the same information into your paragraph in different ways. Now, quoting is a way to integrate a source. However, APA style prefers paraphrasing. Paraphrasing allows you to summarize and synthesize information from 1 or more sources, focus more on the significant information, and compare and contrast relevant details. So let's look at this quote and paraphrase a part of it. Instead of quoting, "Classroom collaboration enhances student engagement by fostering," you could paraphrase that in your own words and write, "Johnson 2019 talks about how students engage more when they are working together because it promotes a, quote, shared responsibility and interaction among peers." Here, only the key and or unique phrases are quoted, and everything else is put into your own words. The next step of integrating a source is connection. This involves 3 steps. First, connect the source to your paper's argument. Next, clarify why you included the source. And lastly, emphasize why the source is important. Some questions to ask yourself include, how does the source support your argument? How does the source counter an opposing argument? And what does this information actually mean? Here is an example that connects, clarifies, and emphasizes the importance of the source. Johnson 2019 found that classroom collaboration enhances student engagement by encouraging interaction and shared responsibility among peers. This perspective reinforces the idea that engagement thrives in community-oriented classrooms, where students' contributions build on each other's ideas. By grounding this argument in Johnson's research, it becomes clear that collaboration is not just a method for completing group projects, but a foundation for cultivating sustained interest and investment in learning. So there's a connection where the writer directly supports their claim about culturally responsive pedagogy. There's a clarification, which shows why the source is relevant. And there's an importance, which emphasizes credibility and practical significance. The last step is to cite your source. Now, why do we do this? First, we want to give credit to the original author and publisher. And second, it allows readers to find the original material to verify your claims and see the sources that informed your work. Two ways to cite include parenthetical and narrative. Now, here are some examples of how to use parenthetical and narrative citations within your writing. Parenthetical citations come at the end of the sentence in parentheses with the author and date. For example, collaborative activities help students stay engaged and motivated by promoting interaction and shared responsibility. Johnson, 2019. See how the citation comes after the sentence. A narrative citation comes within the sentence with the author outside of parentheses and the date in parentheses. For example, Johnson 2019 explains that classroom collaboration enhances student engagement by fostering shared responsibility among peers. Use either of these to cite a source in your writing. Now let's put all these steps together to integrate a source into a paragraph. Here is our first example. It reads, Price 2019 discusses plagiarism policies in her article, arguing that attempts to make plagiarism seem simple prevent us from adequately defining it. Accordingly, a single, all-encompassing definition for plagiarism, which would aim to simplify it, would not be sufficient and likely does not exist. For the introduction and citation, these come right at the start with Price 2019, the citation, discusses plagiarism policies in her article, the introduction. The integration is the paraphrase of what the author argued in the article, which reads, arguing that attempts to make plagiarism seem simple prevent us from adequately defining it. And the last thing is the connection, when the writer expanded upon the author's ideas and talked more broadly about plagiarism. Here is our second example. It reads, Doug 2012 explains how habits shape daily behavior and how people can change them through awareness. He notes that habits follow a cue routine reward loop that can be adjusted once recognized. This suggests that students can strengthen study habits by setting consistent cues, such as studying at the same time each day. The introduction and citation also come at the start of this paragraph. Doug 2012, the citation, explains how habits shape daily behavior is the introduction, which states the main idea of the article. The integration includes mostly paraphrase information and one unique phrase that is quoted with a page number, cue routine reward, which then has the page number. Lastly, the source is connected to the writer's main point about strengthening study habits. Here is our final example. It reads, collaborative learning environments such as number and math talks significantly increase student engagement and performance. During week 6 of my reflection, I stated that a student noted, participating in math talks helped me understand different ways to solve problems. Hearing my classmates' strategies gave me new ideas and made me feel more confident in my own solutions. Teachers reported that these activities encouraged students to think about their own thought processes, share their strategies, and learn from each other. This aligns with research from Hornby and Greaves, 2022, which found that collaborative learning environments foster critical thinking and improve problem-solving skills. In this last example, the sources are introduced by stating the main idea in the first sentence. The citations include a parenthetical citation at the beginning and a narrative citation at the end. The integration in this paragraph includes paraphrase information and direct quotes. The connection comes at the end when the author directly states how this research aligns with another source, emphasizing its importance in their discussion on collaborative learning environments. Thank you so much for watching. Visit the OWL by scanning this QR code to make an appointment for writing guidance and APA formatting.